My girlfriend told me my folks believe you're not up to par. We should take some time apart. I responded calmly, I get it. Then I pulled out my portion from the shared account we'd set up for the wedding she'd already quietly called off. Her time apart turned into a forever split and a costly one. I'm 32 male. Up until 3 weeks back, I was set to wed Nicole, 29F, come next spring. 4 years as a couple, invitations sent, stunning location reserved, her ideal setup, mainly. Her parents, Stephen and Angela Hawthorne, were constantly around, lingering. I always sensed they felt Nicole was compromising with me, a project coordinator, not from inherited wealth like them. It all fell apart on a drizzly Tuesday. Typical, Nicole showed up, we have to discuss. Her gaze was evasive. My parents, they're concerned I'm hurrying into this, she started, fiddling with her ring. They feel perhaps you're not sufficiently secure for the lifestyle they picture. Not adequate, after 4 years and her insisting on this lavish event. So what do you mean, Nicole? I maintained composure. I believe we require a pause, she stated, to reassess. For me to reflect, for you to ponder their words. A pause? Mere weeks prior to last payments. After I'd invested a substantial 5-figure amount from my reserves into our combined wedding fund. My $30,000 was deposited, her $30,000 was in there too. Whether from her income or fully funded by her parents, I didn't dwell on it, but the complete amount was there, equaling mine. Around $60,000 in all. Something seemed wrong. Scripted. I get it, I replied. She appeared taken aback. Anticipated drama, probably. If you require distance, then you do, I shrugged. For how long? A couple weeks, maybe a month, just some room. Okay, she departed. The place felt vast. An hour of emptiness. Then icy, systematic fury. Her phrase not up to par. Her attitude eased. The schedule dubious. A sneaky thought, verify the location. Following day, I phoned the planner, Brenda. Excuse about food specifics. Oh, Mr. Davies, she paused. In fact, Nicole contacted late Monday evening. She terminated the reservation. Monday, the day prior to the pause discussion. Terminated? I kept tone casual. Postpone? No, complete termination. Unexpected issues, she mentioned. The starting $10,000 payment is non-returnable, naturally. That payment originated from our shared fund, our $60. Thus, the pause was a performance. The marriage was already over by her doing. I accessed online banking. Shared account, $50,000 left. My $30,000 input, her $30,000, less the forfeited $10,000 payment. My portion of that leftover $50,000 was $25,000. It was my cash. For an event she'd covertly ended. I moved my $25,000 away. Neat. Then I messaged her. Nicole, just learned from the location you ended it all on Monday. Before our chat. So the pause is everlasting. I assume. I've extracted my part of the leftover money from the wedding fund. Appears equitable since no event. Wish you discover what you're seeking. Blocked her. Her folks. Her closest pal, Amy. Occasionally, comprehension is a pricey education. For another person. Update 1. A week after the message. The quiet didn't endure. Blocking is just a hint nowadays. Thursday morning. Message from unknown line. Nicole. Furious, not upset. Justin, what do you believe you're up to? You removed funds from our event account. You can't simply do that. Contact me right away. Our event, the one she ended. Unreal. Didn't contact. Emails ensued. From Nicole. Critical money mistake. You've committed a major error. Essence. I pilfered from her. I was spiteful, destroying her. The pause wasn't a separation. A probable tale. Her parents were appalled. Restore her funds. My $25K suddenly was her funds. She flip-flopped on the location termination not being confirmed when she saw I knew. Madam, total termination is quite conclusive. Then Angela, Nicole's mom, obtained my job email. Gem of indirect hostility. Justin, Nicole is upset. Though we voiced small concerns, your behavior has been excessive and harsh. You've seized money designated for payments. Nicole is now in an awful spot. As a proper man, you ought to correct this error immediately. Correct this error. Adore that. As though I unintentionally slipped and my cash dropped from her account. The $10 location payment was already vanished. $5K mine, $5K hers. My extraction of $25K from the remaining $50K left her with her precise $25. Arithmetic. Is not difficult. My single response to Angela copying Nicole. Dear Angela, Nicole terminated the wedding spot on Monday, October 9th, prior to telling me she desired a pause. The money was for that event. No event, so I reclaimed my share. Nicole retains her complete input. Any additional obligations are hers. Issue resolved. Warning to a charging animal, evidently. Weekend onslaught. Unanswered calls. Desperate emails. Nicole. The food provider requires their payment. The photo taker. I covered some from my own funds, thinking the shared cash was available. You are indebted to me. Her assertions regarding these other supplier payments, allegedly from her own funds, made me hesitate. If accurate, the sequence would be key. More items to confirm, I figured. Her sibling Brandon, 31M, contacted me via a career connection platform. Justin. Dude. What's your issue? Nicole's distraught. Mom and Dad are worried. Return the cash. Be the superior individual. This merely cash. This merely cash. Simple for him to state. The superior individual doesn't deceive or secretly terminate weddings. Saturday evening, viewing an old picture. We seemed joyful. Felt foolish. A moment of sorrow. Then I recalled not up to par. The determination came back. This concerns realities, not feelings. She chose. She's confronting the cost. Her pause is everlasting. And costly. Fine. Update 2 a few weeks on. The heat's increased. Not from me. I'm still neutral ground. Composed, serene and gathering proofs. Nicole and the Hawthorns, Stephen, Angela and Brandon as the attack hound, have intensified. It's nearly admirable. Underhanded tactics. Online vague posts. Nicole's mournful enigmatic entries. Faith shattered, reassembling fragments. Amy, her buddy, supporting her. He never valued you. Irritating but ultimately empty words. The mutual possessions ploy. Nicole emailed a request list for things from my home. Some presents from her, reasonable. But then my items acquired before Nicole. Audio setup, artwork, reasoning. We shared them. No, that's not ownership. She also requested some cooking tools that were pre-wedding gifts delivered to my place. From my family. Obviously planning to keep them for herself instead of returning to donors. The nerve. The money confusion tactic. This is the major one. She's now asserting she advanced thousands for assorted wedding elements. Gown adjustments. Payments for minor suppliers. From her private accounts. With the expectation she'd get repaid from the shared wedding pot. As I investigated, I saw she had shown some bills. The issue? I never consented to repay her for personal wedding clothing from the shared pot. Her gown was hers. My outfit was mine. Those payments, she asserted? I found some dated post her termination of the primary spot. So she ended the event. Then kept expending on, what precisely? A ghost event? Or hoping I wouldn't discover the large termination. She's also insisting I cover half the termination charges for suppliers she reserved and she ended. Including the primary spot's $10,000 non-returnable payment. She easily overlooks that $5,000 of that lost payment was my cash already. She wants me to pay another $5,000, so she's unscathed and I'm down $10,000. The calculations of the truly privileged is a unique form of inventive bookkeeping. Her parents support her. Angela phoned my mother. My mom heard, then essentially said, Angela, it appears Nicole made choices without talking to Justin and is now annoyed about the results. Justin is an adult and honestly, from what he's shared, his steps seem entirely logical. That talk concluded fast. Go mom. Brandon leaves self-righteous messages. You're truly revealing your real nature, Justin. This isn't manly conduct. You're abandoning Nicole in trouble over a mix-up. A covert event termination is a mix-up? Sure, pal. My reply to all this? Records. Every email, message, note the key parts. Every text from pre-pause. My own financial records proving my event buys. Verified with suppliers I handled that no agreements were only my duty. Brief discussion with an attorney, presented him the sequence, the shared account terms. It was basic, luckily, just noting funds for joint event expenses, evidence of my input, and Nicole's spot termination proof. His view? I'm safe. The cash I extracted was clearly mine, meant for a goal she single-handedly voided. Her later spending or termination charges are her issue. He said, she's attempting to intimidate you. Don't allow it. Solid counsel. The pricey aspect for Nicole is already occurring. She's liable for multiple non-returnable payments she made after ending the main spot but before the pause chat, assuming, I suppose, she could still rescue some or blame me. The photo taker, the elaborate cake maker, the musical group she insisted on for the absent ritual. Those suppliers seek their termination fees. And they're targeting her, not me. I haven't been confrontational. I haven't defamed her. I've merely stepped back. Removed my backing. Removed my funds. It's intriguing, actually, how fast we and us turn to you are indebted to me when the gratis support ceased. My determination is firm. She desired a pause. She received one. A lasting, financially troublesome one. The not up to par remarks still hurt occasionally late evenings. But then I view the expanding collection of her growingly erratic requests and I think, yes, I'm adequate to not tolerate this. Update 3 well, joyful nearly holiday season all. Or, if you're Nicole Hawthorne, likely not joyful. The past month has been revealing. The privilege hit its peak and then at last, the tune began to quiet. For them, anyhow. For me, it's been a time of peace, strong boundaries. So, the sneaky moves persisted briefly, then stalled. Nicole, via her dad Stephen this time, really had a legal rep send me a note. It was packed with bravado. Wrongful use of combined marital money. We weren't wed. Emotional pain. Violation of commitment. To wed. The one she halted. It required I restore the $25,000 I extracted, plus extra $15,000 to offset her deficits from ended suppliers and harms. So, $40. Absurd. My legal rep, yes, I kept the one I asked for caution, replied with a courteous, factual 2-page answer. It featured a precise sequence of occurrences, with duplicates of the spot termination proof, dated before her pause address. Financial records displaying my $30 input to the event fund and my $25 extraction, leaving her exact starting investment whole, after the spot's non-returnable payment was deducted from the sum. A soft note that any deals with other suppliers were made by Nicole, and any termination fees were her duty, particularly those after she'd already secretly ended the main wedding setup. A strong declaration that there was no lawful ground for her assertions, and any more efforts to chase this would face a counter for bother. We never got word from their legal rep again. I suppose even he saw he couldn't improve that dud. Stephen Hawthorne likely wasn't thrilled about covering legal costs for that failure. The online vague posts also dwindled. I believe some of her pals, perhaps even Amy, began to connect dots or just tired of the turmoil. When your pity narrative doesn't yield money, folks disengage. Then arrived the last, rather pitiful clashes. Nicole succeeded in reaching me by phone, unblocked her briefly, from odd curiosity. Huge error. Or perhaps not. It was eye-opening. Justin, you've destroyed all. She lamented. No intro. Direct to the sufferer role. I'm buried in debt. Those suppliers are pursuing me. My folks are enraged. This is your doing. Your doing. Nicole? I kept tone steady. Who secretly ended the event spot. I was stressed. My folks. I was mixed up. But you didn't need to be so vengeful. So mean. Extracting all that cash. It was my cash, Nicole. My portion. For an event you chose wasn't occurring. What did you think I'd do? Allow you to use it for your alone existence? But the payments. The pledges. A true guy would have handled those for me. To act properly. There it was once more. The proper guy angle. A true guy, I stated, wouldn't have been deceived and controlled. A proper guy, by your terms, seems like a pushover with funds, Nicole. And I'm not that. She began sobbing then. Or producing sobbing sounds. You don't grasp how much this has charged me. Oh, I believe I do, I replied. This charged you precisely what your decisions have caused. That's termed accountability. Then I added, I wish you sorted out, Nicole. Farewell. And I ended the call. Blocked her once more. Permanently this time. A week on, Brandon, the sibling, attempted a surprise. Noticed me at a cafe I visit often. He marched over all inflated. Justin, we must discuss what you've inflicted on my sibling. Brandon, I replied, not glancing from my device. Nothing to cover. Your sibling chose. She's dealing with them. I recommend you and your folks aid her organize her money, since you all were key in her choices. She's your betrothed. Or was. You have an ethical duty, he ranted, tone escalating. Folks were glancing. No, Brandon, I don't. My sole duty was to a bond, and she ended that without informing me. The sole thing I inflicted on your sibling was decline to cover her errors. Pardon me. I rose and departed. He appeared ready to burst. Let him. The consequences for Nicole, from what I've gathered from the fringes of our now-cut mutual groups, has been notable. The thousands she asserted to have advanced for various event parts? Turns out many were on a charge card. Her charge card. With a high rate. The suppliers she ignored after ending? Some were tiny operations. They chased their termination fees, as they ought. The stress from her folks is evidently huge. Not helpfully, but in a reprimanding way. Angela is embarrassed by this open flop, and Stephen despises squandering cash sort of way. They're likely assisting her with money, but I bet it includes endless "I warned you and how could you be so unwise?" Her splendid idea of an ideal event, probably supported by my reserves and her folks' wish for prestige, collapsed. And she's left managing the load for all the elements she attempted to balance after she'd already let go of the primary one. I received one last, surprising email. From Amy, Nicole's top pal. "Justin, I know I was quite terrible in some remarks. I only got Nicole's version, and she was persuasive. I've begun to view things differently. She's chaotic, and frankly, she's not owning much. Just wanted to mention I understand now. Apologies. Didn't answer that either. But it was notable. So the payback, it wasn't noisy, it wasn't dramatic. It was merely me, steadily moving from the danger zone and allowing the fragments from her own bomb strike her. She desired a pause, believed I wasn't adequate. Okay. She experienced what adequate for her folks' measures would really charge when my input was taken out of the mix. It was costly. Quite. Final update. It's been almost 5 months since that final call with Nicole, and roughly 7 since my life shifted dramatically. Thought I should provide a closing update to those who tracked this chaos. Life progresses. It's more peaceful now. The rage has largely diminished, swapped by a sort of tired practicality. I don't celebrate Nicole's money woes, but I don't fret over them either. She constructed that situation. She's in it. From the bits I catch via rumors, it's a connected world. Even when you aim to reduce yours, Nicole is still managing the money aftermath. She had to relocate with Stephen and Angela temporarily to conserve funds, which I picture is its own unique torment for everyone. The ideal event debt is evidently a touchy topic. There's no mention of her seeing someone fresh. I think her self-assurance, and maybe her folks' readiness to support another social venture, suffered. Angela and Stephen Hawthorne are, by reports, returned to normal, likely regretting their daughter's selections and quietly or openly faulting all but themselves for their role in influencing her. Brandon, I've learned, still views me as the antagonist, but his view matters less than a drink's cost. As for me, the $25,000 I'd extracted from the shared fund at the start went directly back to my reserves where it fit. I retained the betrothal ring, it's in a secure box. Perhaps someday I'll sell it, or perhaps it'll remain a costly memento. Undecided. The not up to par phrase still resonates at times, often when fatigued or a melancholic tune plays. Some mark, I suppose, prompted me to rethink some aspects, made me warier. Reliance is delicate, readily shattered, tougher to restore. I've gone on several outings, nothing committed. No hurry. There was no theatrical legal battle, no open humiliation beyond what she caused herself. My payback, if that's the term, was just to make her answer for her deeds. I didn't descend to her standard. I didn't join in insults. I merely presented truths, safeguarded my resources, and departed. Her privilege, her falsehoods, and her folks' elitism formed an ideal tempest, and all I did was decline to fund it. The most gratifying element? Realizing I managed it with a poise I didn't realize I had, that I didn't permit them to dismantle me or control me more. The ethical basis was always evident. She deceived. She misled. She attempted to force me to cover it. I just declined. So yes, life isn't a storybook. At times the royal reveals herself more focused on the kingdom's wealth than the royal. And at times the not adequate fellow proves to be adequate to perceive the trick and depart with his honor and his reserves safe. It's not a joyful conclusion in the classic way. A 4-year bond concluded in a rather nasty manner. But it's a genuine conclusion. And I'm fine. I'm advancing. That alone seems like success. Thanks for hearing.